Hello, everybody. I am Mercury, also known as the Shadow Spur, and I welcome you back to episode 2 of my Suzerain playthrough. Now, let's look at the news so far. Okay, a campaign finance bill, fair representation in the Assembly. The long-stalled campaign bill has once again come center stage in the Grand National Assembly. The bill, first proposed during the Alfonso presidency, has been put on hold due to the 1953 election, but has been resurrected under President Mercury. The proposed amendment ensures a proportional allocation of public funds more accurately reflecting the political party's influence within the legislative body. Okay. I did emphasize our dire situation in my speech, so yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so I was sworn in with a astounding 37% of the general vote. Not the greatest, but okay. Okay, what about... Okay, so the call to end Solonomics and restructure the infrastructure. Okay, so mega infrastructure projects, so United Concordian backwind warmed up investments. Short term, but more long term, especially in linking focus on economic nodes and business. Diversification of investments where the government support and power help private industries with. Okay. National. The new assembly begins. Okay. The Communist Party and the Workers' Party both won just below 10%, failing to pass the threshold. Oh dear. Well, I guess that's kind of good, but then we have the Nationalists with 11%, holding third place. And then we have my party with the rest. Yeah, we're kind of just sticking to one party, so I guess that makes sense that there's issues. Anyways, my plan for this is basically just to go over a little bit and end with a decision I am throwing up to you, the viewers. I'm giving you two choices, actually. Because there will be a mega infrastructure project. I will be funding that. And then we have the discussion of the campaign bill, which I will let you decide whether I support or veto, basically. If I support it, it is changing it from a vote based on influence, aka the vote, you get funding based on votes, to the number of seats. But anyways, let's get a quick look at everything. Okay, so got a pseudo-NATO group advocating global human rights, suffering of a lack of investments in Avery, logistical issues in Holstead, the general staff are gathering, port the port has lost its importance, low production, a congratulations uh, from Lesbia, congratulations from Valgsaland, Valgsaland. Okay, that's an interesting name. Congratulations from Willen. Congratulations from Agnolia. And okay. So, back to the focus. Okay, let's start with the current political situation here. Peter, my best friend, is arriving a couple minutes early and sat across from me. He struggles to hold back a smile. We did it, Murc. We won! Finally, all those years with our noses to the grindstone finally paid off. Peter's eyes sparkled. The strain of the past months had been a damper on his usually rakish charm. But today, he was looking and acting more like his old self. He loosened his tie, undid the top 2 buttons of his shirt. Enjoying the new secretary I picked for you? Thought you'd appreciate her gorgeous set of talents. It's a shame the rest of your staff aren't as easy on the eyes. Peter, that's not the things I want to hear from you. Gestures to the slight pouch that protrudes over his waistband. But hey, back in university, did you ever imagine we'd be sitting here in the Maroon Palace? We have to celebrate this great victory. Peter, this is not a time for celebration. We have work to do. Yes, I agree. We've got things to do today. We can't let we can let loose at the ball. Yes, we can. Okay, meeting about political strategies for this term. Meeting and discussing the reformists. Okay. We mostly see eye to eye, but I would want to know what you are thinking. Let's go over this when Lucian arrives. Let's not have to repeat our ideas. And speak of the devil. The door swung open, and Lucian, Night Chief Strategist, walked in. He was a compact man with a sharp bird-like features, and after surveying the room from wall to wall, he sat down, poured a glass of water, and opened his briefcase in a series of quick, graceful movements. Yeah, he really does kind of have that bird-like feature, bird-like appearance. Tall case clock in the room struck 3 o'clock. Exactly on time. Hello, Peter. And Lucian then turns towards me. He bows his head. Lucian, how are you? He's ready and able. Lucian spoke in a soft, clipped tone that immediately drew the attention towards what he was saying, and I waited for him to proceed. Okay. Let's start by evaluating the current situation. The majority of the Surge people demand change. They are more concerned about the economy than the Constitution, but they blame the system for the problems. That makes sense. I kind of also had that feeling. Okay. People are losing trust in our democracy. Well, why do you think radicals like Bernard Circus are becoming more popular? Everything was expecting us to bring the change the last government did not. Franz Richter, leader of the reformists, believes that true change can only be accomplished by transferring some of the powers to the assembly. I will I'll move into more detail as of their demands shortly. Okay. We do need to listen to the people and serve this country. It will not be easy, obviously. We will need more allies against the old guard and the government. Oh dear, that's concerning to hear. Richter managed to persuade many members of the assembly and gave their support for drafting a new constitution. Reformist politicians are quickly increasing in number. Okay. While the reformist wing will inside our party is still a minority, they have a tripartisan majority in the assembly. Especially under Franz Richter. Okay. They aren't wrong to agree that we need changes, but we should be in charge. But I definitely think Mr. Richter could be a potential ally in our goals to maintain the majority. Both these statements are a little bit loaded in trying to maintain power. But I'd rather have a diversity of thought than and changing than old ideas. Okay. Okay, so the demands of the reformists are clear. Let me write this down. Demands are okay. The veto on the Supreme Court. We do need to be able to balance the power in the country. Okay. We need to be different than the last administration, though. Peter, good that you agree. Can't ignore the winds of change, after all. The old guard will do their best to, however, preserve it. Chief Justice Hawker and his allied judges have a great influence over the Supreme Court, which will be tough to break. Okay? The court will also have final say over constitutional legislation. Without their approval, we cannot even change it. That seems like a bad idea there. We do need to break the power of the Supreme Court one way or the other. Okay. We need to take away their vote in constitutional legislation. I can agree with that. We have many challenges ahead, that's for certain. Okay, still have 130 out of the 250 assembly, so we at least got the majority. Okay, Constitution will receive a 2/3 thing, which is 166, and we need 6 Supreme Court to agree with us. Okay, their first goal must be 150 signatures, okay? Following that, the US we will reach out to other parties' leaders and see if they would back our draft. Last step is convincing the judges. The entire process will take a long time, and we will start working with the reform committee to evaluate all possibilities of the new constitution as soon as possible. We need to rewrite the Constitution to be more democratic with the reformists. It'll be tough to persuade them, and with our base, working with Richter and his band of reformists. But everyone agrees we need a new constitution. The key thing will be strengthening the power of the assembly, which already leads in the majority. Okay? Okay, so they want two things. The reformists want two things. Let's see what they are. Okay? Okay, so get rid of the constitutional vote on the Supreme Court. And the president's absolute veto will be taken away. Okay, so there's the... Okay, so the absolute veto is also out of the question. I have no issues with that. Okay. We will form a reform committee together. Okay, so we have a reformist party, a reform committee. Okay. Reach out to stakeholders in the assembly and the Constitution. By later in the year, we should have a good idea. Okay. Okay, and then we're dealing with Lothberg groups, the oligarchs, a private, non-government organization assessing the the economic conditions of Sordland and the globe. Okay. The previous leader has fallen ill and now is being led by Walter Tusk. According to reports, some members of the National Business Council are in their pockets. Tusk and the group will surely try to bribe us in exchange for special economic protections. I'll need to enter into dialogue with them eventually. Let's try and be diplomatic. A wise approach. Get to understand. I will reach them out in the middle ground. Okay. As far as I know, Marcel Kenreki, some strong ties to the group. His influence should really be an asset to us. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're aware of his wide network. The group's influence is an important force, one that we could use in our administration's advantage. The group's influence is important. Let's try and have them be at least on a friendlier term for us. Yes. The old lobbyists. What we can afford and what they want. Okay, need to tread carefully with the size of all players. Just 5-hour term. Okay, we have a military and general staff are a powerful element. History tells us a dangerous one too. We do have some room to structure changes by reducing their budget, for example. Okay, let's see here. let's see here. I'd rather prefer to get advice from the military beforehand. Just just so that I have an idea of what they need or what they want before I decide on their budget. Okay? They're biased, and oh dear, nationalism clouds our minds. General Kruger is a specter of the past, and well, Josef Lancia is more loyal to us. The fact that obviously can change with our own actions. Either way, I see a potential rift between the two, since we clearly have different minds. If we act strongly against the military, both those guys will unite. We definitely need to tread carefully. And there's 30 minutes. Not in this, but the game. Okay. Conclude the political briefing. Next, we'll talk about media strategies. See you soon. I will keep in touch. And he will see us at the next meeting. Okay. Oh. Nature Preserve March. Okay. Oh, new headlines. A fire strikes the university archives. Oh no. And a committee on reform. Okay. Okay. Alfonso abandons Lothburg's exclusive conclave. Okay. Interesting. Football has begun once more. I was never able to tell if this was actually American football or European football. I'm guessing it's referring to more European. Okay. Oh dear. So it seems like there's members of the old guard who are involved in this exam incident. Oh. That's probably the event in which... Oh, wait, no, that's something different. And Rumberg. Okay, so... And Reza. Okay. What's going on in Dyer? Increased homelessness. Okay, so Holstead is preparing tourism. And a gas field was discovered in Narble. Okay. Moving on. Oh. Public opinion. Okay, so people like the idea, so we got 55% currently in terms of support. A little change. And the fires. That's going to be fun to deal with. Now let's cover the economic situation. Okay, meeting at the Maroon Palace with the Minister of the Interior, Minister of Rural Development, and Minister of the Economy. Okay, so ministers who would take interest in economics, obviously. To assistants carrying a heavy projector. I'm guessing it's one of those old overhead projectors, which were often ratchet strapped to a cart, if I remember some of them. Okay. Okay, Miss Graff is arguing about advancements in Agenland. Okay. While Gus is one who's arguing about the unemployment crisis. Okay. Economic heartland, yeah. Okay, so focus on one territory or two. Okay. And then we have Seaman. What's he saying? Oh, nothing. What's this debate about? Internal economic strategy disagreements. Not really a disagreement. Ms. Graff, explain it. Okay. Mr. Menger is proposing we should invest in more already developed regions, while you want to develop the areas that don't have basic commodities delivered in time. That's fair. Can you please elaborate further? Of course, the argument is simple. Agland is the weakest region in both terms of economic and social support. I can see that. Well, I can agree with that. We support the city of Avery and its respected mayor. How impartial can you really be? Simone has observed this argument. Why are you questioning her impartiality? This is a snake woman of former Mayor of Avery, and Eric Neal is her successor. Her argument could be biased. Okay, so she's from the area, so which makes sense why she would know a lot more information. Okay. Figures are being skewed by Narcus looking. Let's all look at this reasonably, yes. Okay. Oh yes, those two staffers who are still holding that heavy-ass projector. Okay, they set it down and install a white screen on the wall. Little rude, but at least he corrected himself. Okay, so Mr. Hull was not much of a people person, it seems. Okay, he's looking through slides. I'm just gonna wait. I know I've been yawning through this. I'm not gonna yawn again in the game. Okay. Oh, there seems to be a station construction and it's stored that something happened. Stalled due to government property boundary issues. Okay. Okay, so she's willing to look it. Ms. Graff is willing to look into it. Okay, so at least they can cooperate mostly. Alright, finally found what he was looking for. Okay, so it looks like our currency lost value and it's trying to be restabilized by the central bank. Situation is still a case to our things. Since economics is my forte, it is possible that I am well aware of this. Yes, I went to college for economics. I should know this. What's the GDP in debt? We are spending more than we make. we have more debt than we make money for in a year. That's never a good thing. And we used to be making more beforehand. What's the situation for unemployment and inflation? And unemployment is at 16%, goddamn. Inflation is at 10%. That is pretty damn bad. We need to do something about that. We need to either devalue our currency somehow or something. And the status of the recession. Okay, is about 6%, and then we've lost roughly 5,000 per capita in 2 years. Yeah, I can agree with that. The sooner we get this GDP growth, the better. Okay? What's the strategies? Okay, so situation is alarming, but not negative. Privatization from Alfonso and key foreign direct investments left us with a good budget surplus of 8K, which we can use to stabilize a crisis. Primary subject should be selling on which plan we go on. Solonomics on nationalism of the 30s, or privatization that started in the 40s, that's went through the 40s. Okay. I did promise we were a free market economy, so let's see what this entails for us. Oh, Miss Graff, you don't support it? Why promote the private sector when we have quality state-owned enterprises? Because a lack of competition makes them inefficient. Yeah, I agree with that. Humanity of the 20th century thrived because of the rule of supply and demand. If your demand is greater than the supply, well, you struggle. When the supply is greater than the demand, you have a wasted product. Okay. Two of our neighbors have definitely been able to support themselves with it. Okay. Integrating heavily in the market economy would work if we had extensive means of production. Our industry is lacking. Well, if we give people a chance to actually create industry that they own, we wouldn't have lacking industry. Structural problems of Solonomics were going to happen either. Later recession. Okay. Pick one of the doctrines. Oh dear. There's an important way. Okay, direct our economy. Superpowers. We have yet to align ourselves with any, so, okay. Economically speaking, and isolationist policy overall could only work if we reap the benefits of both spheres and their rivalry. This is dangerous to attempt, but still possible. Should be cautious. Hmm. Trying to balance out what? Trying to balance out two rivalries. That's gonna be fun. Staying neutral will work out. through protecting our country and our own values. There's no other way. Okay. Okay, we already do have lucrative trade agreements with 3 countries. Decent. Okay, yep, that's more foreign relations than economics. Simon pushes forward a legal document outlining the possibility. Document listed. Cabinet members, look at me. Let us finish what Alfonso started with the capitalist free market reforms. His path was going to enrich Swartland. Miss Graff, I think the recession is just due to a lot of issues, not just a switch from being planned to free market. There is plenty of time for him to do it. It just happened 2 years when it's our fault. What's our long-term economic schedule? Picking construction companies, trade relations, tax reforms, and privatization initiatives would be some of them. Speaking of a solid plan, planned economic strategies will be on the right call. 5-year plans were fruitful in the past. Let's just move on to the conclusion here, everyone. Okay, what are my final thoughts? We should look for opportunities like privatization to create financial resources. Okay? Good that you agree with me, Mr. Hole. Free market as promised. Ms. Graff, we may not agree with things, but I am wanting to privatize and make sure that the people have a chance, not just the state. And that's the meeting. Okay. Oh, 7 more reports. Tourism has come along. Okay, economic meeting. Okay. And then, oh, an ad from former President from the Alfonso Foundation. Armored Industries pioneering electronics. Okay. Freezing temperatures recorded. Let's see what the Radical has. Oh, Alfonso is ditching the Lothberg group and nationalist violence. Fun. Oh. Promising agricultural growth. Infrastructure issue report. Infrastructure issues. Increased unemployment. Booming wine demand. Sea maintenance. Concordian Security Pact. Okay. Oh, finally we got the congratulations from the Kingdom of Ryza. Okay. And now on to the media strategies. I know this is probably boring to some of you. But this is a slow game at first. Okay. Ah, yes. Good old Lucian. Greetings, gentlemen. Further discuss the... Oh. Information on the fire. Tell me more. Mr. Reports the Holstead Police indicates that it's a potential arson case. According to protocol, the Swedish Intelligence Directorate has been called. Okay. There's no logical reason for the attack. Foreign sabotage, okay, has been destroyed. Tens of thousands of globally recognized research documents in originals by great thinkers of our people. Back to Peter's point, if it was arson, what could the motive have been? The fact that the employee records have been destroyed along with the research documents raises further questions. Someone is trying to cover up their involvement there. Okay, originals have been copied in other universities, and the same for international libraries. The first edition of his favorite book has also been destroyed. Oh dear. Might have been a freak accident. We do have copies of the most important works. No single damage could eradicate our knowledge. See no point in destroying the employee's record either. Well, I think those were the important things. Someone's trying to hide something, I think. Oh. So, Mr. Contrani sold his son. What is he wanting? After the passing of his father. Oh, that's why he's wanting to meet. Okay. A productive collaboration. Powerful and influential media conglomerate. With a good amount of things. Let's consider it. Let's not be hasty. First, we need to determine our general approach to the media. Okay, so Peter's no expert. What, however, are Lucian's approaches? One is have it influence. Okay. The other is keeping it independent. I'd rather have an independent media. Okay, so unpopular ideas may become even, well, popular ideas may become even less popular. The more people that support our agenda, the more we can accomplish. The ever elusive balance of power and perspective. I share in this opinion. It's not a good opinion, but I can understand it. No, is it we should at least have control over it. Who is this now? Ah, Livia, the secretary. Okay. Lucian's secretary is wanting a message relayed. And it seems like Marcel has already taken power of the whole HOS conglomerate. Let's talk with him. This isn't intimidating at all. Greetings, Mr. Murc. I know your time is valuable, so I won't waste any of it. I've just been elected the CEO of the HOS. My strategy of running the conglomerate will be different from my father's approach. So I am offering you a partnership deal in regards to our media branch. I would likely formally invite you to my resort in Conrate for the meeting to discuss details. Okay. What does that entail? A future partnership, Mr. President. Surely we can't talk about details on the phone. You want to meet face to face. I'll send you the details through my secretary if you are interested. I'll meet with him. Let's see how this goes. You will not be disappointed, I promise. Well, then, I will let you return to your packed schedule. See you later, Mr. President. See you later, Mr. Controni. I see things are... I'll set things up right away. Expect a worthwhile meeting next month. Okay, it's settled then. Looking forward to next month. I wonder if he has a pool. Peter, that is not something you need to be thinking about now. Okay, it appears that we are done for today. We will continue where we left off. Thank you for your time. See you soon, gentlemen. Peter and Lucian gather their documents and promptly leave my office. We already gathered the attention of the key figures and potentially dangerous ones. Okay. Okay. The Mega Infrastructure Project. I am funding it. As I promised. And now, we are down one government budget. And now on to the next point. The campaign finance bill. This is where we will be leaving off, everyone. I thank you for watching, and please